and welcome to Real Talk with Camrin Meyer. This is the show where we talk about movies and movie-related things, and if you are a film nerd in the Cleveland County area, then this is the show for you. Hello, Camrin.
Hey, Jessica. It's me, Cameron. I'm here on this wonderful, wonderful show. We're going to talk about movies, upcoming and current. We're going to talk about trailers. We're going to talk about news, rumors, just about anything that you could want. We're joined here today by this splendid young gentleman by the name of Nathaniel, I'm told.
Glad to be here on Real Talk. I love comics, I love movies, and I make comic book movies.
You make them?
Yes.
You didn't tell us you were a director.
Soon to be, on my newly started company, High Productions.
Jokes aside, this burgeoning young gent here is actually a film student at the North Olympic Peninsula Skills Center here in Port Angeles. Yeah, show some talent, show some skill. I like this guy.
I'm a murderer, just to let you know.
No, not on this show, you're not. No.
I have
We're
a
supposed to tell you.
Oh boy.
Okay.
We don't tell them anything. We just talk about movies instead.
We keep the killing afterward. Got that.
What we're
Got
here
it.
for. Okay, so our first subject, a movie directed by Zack Snyder and distributed by Warner Brothers. It has a cast including Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Jesse Eisenberg, Diane Lane, Lawrence Fishburne, Jeremy Irons, Holly Hunter, and Gail Gadot.
And
Okay.
that would be...
The movie is Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. It is an 2016 American superhero film featuring the DC comic characters Batman and Superman. Anything you guys want to say about it?
Well, let's look at the trailer first.
Be their hero, Clark. Be their angel. Be their monument. Be anything they need you to be. Or be none of it. You don't owe this world a thing. You never did.
Do you know the oldest?
I remember back before this movie came out, everybody online was saying, like, oh, Ben Affleck, he's no Batman. But then, when the movie actually came out, I mean, like, just immediately, I was like, oh, let's see what this Batfleck has to offer. I think he's fantastic, actually.
In my opinion, he is the second best Batman we have ever gotten. Very different from Batman, being more of a mean-spirited Batman, because if you're looking for the kind of Batman that doesn't kill people, you are sorely mistaken. He is going to kill a lot of people in this film. I mean, holy God.
Yeah, no, I remember, like, watching the older Batman movies that are a little bit panned by everybody, and being like, oh, Batman, he doesn't kill people.
I certainly didn't expect this from Ben Affleck coming off of the film known as Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, seriously, if you want a bad superhero film, that might be one to check out. And that's why everyone was so worried, because Daredevil and Batman are very similar as terms of characters. Basically, one's blind and one's not.
One's blind, one's a bat. I mean, how different could they be?
But he did an amazing job here. I'm looking forward to him in his solo film that he'll be starring in and directing, the Batman film, which hasn't been given any other title than Batman as far as I know right now.
Yeah, no. I definitely am really looking forward to that experience because, like, I don't know. I suppose it's just his interpretation of how Batman holds himself, how he talks and everything. It's just dark, it's gritty, but it's somehow almost not over the top. I mean, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice was definitely a really, really dark film. And, like, even darker than I was expecting, but I loved it. I mean, I think that Batman was really pulled off well at having the choice to have him be an older Batman who's been fighting crime for, I believe it was 20 years already. You know, it's just Batman at a point in his career that I don't think anyone's really ever explored yet in a movie that I've seen.
They have explored it, but not as well as other topics. Specifically, Dark Knight Rises and the animated film of Batman The Dark Knight Returns, which I have my own opinions on, that we will not get into here, because that's not what we're talking about today.
Okay, How did you guys think that Gal Gadot did as Wonder Woman?
Honestly, I absolutely love her. I think that I don't know, she's like serious but not too serious. She's got a really strong stage presence, I feel. I really love her outfit design, how it's more like Bronze Age combat oriented than the classic Star Spangled Wonder Woman. I just really love all of her. She's a very, very strong female character in this movie, and I love it.
For me, I'm a little bit more on the 50-50 side. She did a good job, but I don't feel she did the best job in the universe. She was good, but I think with some better casting, they could have gotten someone better for the role. I'm definitely looking forward to her own solo film, but she's not the best Wonder Woman, but she's certainly not an awful one like I thought going in.
Yeah, well,
And that's a lot of this film for me.
Yeah, well, I feel like just like growing up in my own personal past, my mother's favorite superhero of all the world is Wonder Woman, and so growing up watching shows like Super Friends back on Boomerang and stuff, my mom was always like, Wonder Woman, she's the best. And then getting to see Wonder Woman portrayed in like a really authentic, very much real film, iteration was just enchanting.
Honestly, for me, being the comic book fan that I am, I personally believe Wonder Woman should be a lot more intimidating on set. And she was intimidating, but in the comic books, Batman was terrified of Wonder Woman when she came on to the scene. Because this was the person who could possibly kick the crap out of Superman. Not entirely, because Superman is one of the most overpowered characters in comic books, holding black holes in his hand, causing supernovas.
Oh, we'll have our own discussion about that one.
I'm sorry, he is overpowered as.
Oh yeah, no, he's absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Did you guys think that Jesse Eisenberg was not Lex Luthor?
Yeah, he was definitely not Lex Luthor. It's weird though. I mean, it sort of feels like he is Lex Luthor, but on the other hand, he's a much, much, much younger, less confident, anxious feeling Lex Luthor. I mean, like throughout the entire movie, his voice is cracking, he's stuttering, not quite sure what to say. It really, really works, I think, for a supervillain, but maybe not Lex Luthor. Lex has always been a really strong, confident character in my eyes, and well, he's not.
I have to agree with you there. I'm happy that they changed Lex Luthor to Lex Luthor's son in this film, as it's not Lex Luthor. And I'm really happy they made that change because he is not Lex Luthor, let's be honest here. He does not play the part at all. Lex Luthor in the comic books is basically you take Donald Trump and remove the racism and sexism. That is Lex Luthor. He is an a-hole, but he is confident, rich, and a complete, total evil a-hole of a character. This guy felt like this tweeny, less insane version of Joker.
You know, he kind of did actually. Now that you put it into those words, yeah, no,
I'm happy as heck that they've removed him from that role, and I might be able to get maybe Jesse Eisenberg as Joker and not Joker, Lex Luthor instead. Get a more confident, older Lex Luthor who has more intimidation to him, possibly.
Yeah, no, there was definitely a feeling where, like, at no point did I really feel like he had everything entirely in control, and then when he did have things in control, it seemed like he was just kind of being a snotty little kid about it. When you got here, you had an hour, now you have less.
Yeah, he felt like a Joker with less to him.
A Joker pretended not to be insane.
Yeah, that's the way we would put it.
I suppose so, yeah.
So, how do you guys think the story was behind this movie?
Oh,
What story?
Well, there you have it, though. I think that they tried to do a lot of things with this movie, and from what I heard, it was originally going to be 3 hours long.
I feel like that would have made it better. That
I
honestly
don't
would have
know.
made it better.
At the same time, though, that's commonly cited as one of the worst things about the movie is how long it is. Audiences are saying that like there's a lot of movie going on, a lot of stuff going on, but not enough there to actually explain it and get people to understand the plot. I mean, just here at the local movie theater, people were walking out every now and again going, this movie's too long, I don't know what's happening.
Well, and honestly, the length would have helped it because it's not the problem that it's long. The problem is it has no explanation for anything it's doing. At all. Honestly, the story fell pretty badly. This is what I call a functional movie. Not a great movie, a functional movie. It did its job, and the job was, OMG, Marvel just came out with 2 Avengers films. Get this thing out and make our DC universe happen as fast as humanly possible.
No, yeah, seriously, I mean, and it's a release so close to Captain America: Civil War, it's like they're very, 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 very deliberately, painstakingly trying to make sure that they're pitting their hero versus hero film against Marvel's hero versus hero film.
And it suffers for it because they don't have the time and the complexity to get to know the characters.
Exactly. I mean, to sort of jump subjects, I feel the reason that Civil War is going to do well is because there's a lot of character already built up from the past films. We already know how the characters interact with each other. They have relationships that are complicated. Whereas in Batman vs. Superman, we had Superman, who I believe spoke 42 lines the entire movie.
Yeah, he wasn't there for much.
Well,
and while he was there, he was basically there just kind of staring at Batman no.
Yeah, I mean that's what they would call in video games a silent protagonist trying to project your feelings onto him.
Which really sucked because I was a fan of Man of Steel, and coming into this, I was expecting more of a Superman-oriented film, and it's not what I got at all.
Yeah. I feel that another reason that the story is suffering is because we have one protagonist, Superman, and then we're trying to introduce 2 more, protagonists that are just as intimidating, just as famous as he is with Batman and Wonder Woman. And I feel that, though I'm really happy that they spent a lot of time developing Batman in this movie, Superman really just sort of didn't get the attention that he needed.
And there are also some parts of the movie that didn't need developing, like Batman's origin story. We had that, like, how many times have we done Batman's origin? We know from heart. The only thing that can be done now is, like, if you add a brother and a sister in there, which, honestly, I think might work really well.
Write that down, copyright that. No.
Actually, like, I was actually thinking a couple days ago, going off on a little bit unscripted, but, I was thinking of, like, how could I make Batman's story more interesting? Yeah, add him a brother and a sister, older brother, younger sister, and had the younger sister not die and just be paralyzed from the waist down and take control of the company.
That's a really, really specific and painful origin story.
Well,
Gosh.
yeah. Well, what's the greatest thing about Batman's origin story? It's dark. Let's make it darker.
Oh, I mean, well.
Then again, that's me as a person.
Oh no, I mean, I feel personally that Batman's origin story should stay right where it is because I feel like the lack of other family besides Alfred is a really key part in his origin. You know, having that dependency on Alfred, who isn't a blood relative, but rather somebody who sort of took him in as like a final act of honor for his parents. Yeah.
Okay, so our next topic, this movie is a hard reboot. We'll see a new all-female cast, team of heroes will take over, doing a battle with the paranormal to save the world. This is Ghostbusters 3, coming out July.
Okay.
Let's go to the trailer.
For reparation.
With a jovial crew like this, I certainly ain't afraid of no ghost. To be completely honest, I'm really, really excited for this upcoming reboot. I mean, the last Ghostbusters movie was decades ago, before I was born. That said, I still really enjoyed it. I mean,
Okay, that completely changes my game plan. I was planning to come up here and play devil's advocate on like, oh, there's the reasons why it can work, because pretty much the consensus is on the internet is nobody's excited for this film. And I was coming on and was like, oh, I'm going to show why the people like this, and okay, never mind. I don't have that there anymore.
we can just both talk about why it's gonna work.
Well, first off, this is something I'm predicting right out of the gate. It's going to be successful. I mean, there are some people out there that even as hard as they don't want this thing not to succeed, we're going to go see it because they just need to know how it compares with the original.
Yeah.
And that's something I personally cannot stand with the society, is how we have to see this in order to compare it. Just wait for it later, when it's like free or something. You're not giving them money. My opinion doesn't matter.
No. I do not have the ability to wait that long for Ghostbusters. And really, I say that because
You're legitimately excited.
yes.
With me,
to be completely frank, yeah, I don't have the patience. I want to go. To me, going to the movie theaters is like a serious experience. Did you see the last Star Wars movie in the theaters?
yes, I did, because I was legitimately excited for that.
Yeah.
But here's my logic: if you don't like something, don't watch it. But doesn't. If you don't like something, don't buy it. Anyway, I'm on the fence here. I'm not hating the film. I'm not liking the film. I'm on the fence. I can see how this can work. There are ideas here that I'm liking. Despite what the rest of the internet believes, I actually do like the way the ghosts look. I like the kind of neon colors. And they look very creative. They look very interesting to look at and things.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Stylizing the ghosts is definitely a good idea. It's going to set itself apart from, well, the other Ghostbusters movies as well as every other ghost movie out there, be it a horror or a comic, you know?
And the cast looks fairly solid. You have the scientist, the bad A, the newbie. It looks like a really solid cast.
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
Now,
completely,
I do have a few problems with the casting.
That's
Specifically, something that worked with the last like the original Ghostbusters film is you had the 3 comedians and then the 1 non-comedian. This doesn't appear to have that. They all appear to be comedians.
Oh, I get you. So there's no straight man, as it were.
There's no straight man.
Yeah, no one to play the jokes off of. The one guy that's,
There's no, the crap I've seen will turn you white. There is no that character.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that for a comedy to really work, you either need serious characters in a crazy world or crazy characters in a serious world. This might lack that. But that being said, though, I really, really love Leslie Jones. Big fan of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy also was just fantastic. I mean,
I
Getting to see them together.
that would be interesting. That's going to be interesting.
Definitely.
But I can see how this film can also fail. Because the jokes that they were throwing off in this weren't the best at all. And it doesn't look like there's a very solid setup.
Elaborate. How so?
They didn't give us anything that we can actually like pay on to. It's like the Ghostbusters are no longer there. Why would they no longer be there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, personally, what I think is that they're just giving little speckles of movie in the trailer, as they should.
Well, yes,
just
but
I personally believe that trailers need to have just enough to get the audience enticed, to make sure the audience is going to come. I think that it's actually a really, really smart move. They're not giving us any plot. They're not giving us.
I'm not
their
saying that
best
they should.
jokes
I'm
right
not.
off the bat.
I'm not saying that they should give us the whole plot out of the gate, but they should give us like a basic idea, like, okay, Ghostbusters were tired, ghosts are gone, but now they're coming back, something like that.
Yeah.
They don't have to give me away the whole plot. In fact, I don't want them to. I want basically enough plot in the trailer to understand, okay, this is what it's about, but nothing to be able to know what the beats are.
Right.
And there's another problem, is the trailer flat out shows us that somebody's going to get mind controlled at a point. Like, that's an ability
I forgot about that.
That, I was really on the fence, because that's something that can set up suspense, and you just ruin that by showing in the trailer. Along with, and I believe I'm hoping that they just got like the worst jokes in the film, because these jokes did not hit. They really didn't.
You know, I gotta be honest. You reminded me there that they showed somebody being hypnotized or what have you by one of these ghosts. Really sort of knocked my idea of keeping the best for the actual movie flat on its butt.
Yeah.
I mean, unless by some grand scheme they're fooling us, and it was just
maybe the scene's not even in the movie.
Misdirection. Yeah.
Maybe the scene's not in the movie. They're going to pull this scene ain't in the movie trick, like.
Well, they did that with the last American Godzilla, and certainly with Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Love
But
both those movies, by the way.
I haven't seen Godzilla, but I love Star Wars. This doesn't matter anything. We're just going off in random directions.
Oh, we're talking about the trailer.
Yeah. But I'm on the fence. Most people on the internet are hating this movie. You're loving it. I'm strung between both. I'm probably going to see this film later. But yeah.
I feel like as a Ghostbusters fan myself, like, I want to see the movie, but I don't expect it to be as good as the originals, considering the original cast had a completely different dynamic in comedy than the new one does. Because I love Melissa McCarthy, but I don't believe it's the same kind of style of comedy that the original Ghostbusters had.
True that.
You know what? I gotta agree with that. Yeah.
And popping into my mind here, how are they going to explain, I'm sorry to all the Ghostbusters fans out there for completely spacing out his name, but his death. How he's dead.
Well,
the actor's dead.
Honestly, from what I understand, they're only going to give the other characters brief cameos, and it might give them an opportunity actually to lend some serious, genuine, emotional weight to the story.
Okay, moving on to next topic.
Okay, the next topic is Suicide Squad, coming out August 2016. And I could tell that Nathan's excited for this one.
100%.
Well, I won't take up too much time. Then I'll let you get to it in a minute.
Just watch me fan geek out. Oh my god!
You know, I'm really excited about this. Not going to lie to you, audience, though. A part of that is because we get to see more of Ben Affleck's Batman right off the bat. I mean, no pun intended, and I'm not sure if he's going to be in that much of the movie, but I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see his dynamic with the Joker, maybe see a little bit of the backstory there, since, as we already said, Batman has been fighting crime for over 20 years in this universe. I'm really excited. I'm also thrilled to see finally like a superhero movie that's really more of a supervillain movie. From what I understand, the movie's pretty much entirely based around Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Joker, Batman's villains.
Okay. Elaborating more on that, because I'm the comic book nerd here. Suicide Squad is based off of the team made by, I can't remember what the group name is right now, but made by the government in order to basically say, okay, we need something done, but we don't want to be held accountable for this, because if the situation goes wrong, it's just supervillains being supervillains.
You know, S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever.
Yeah. And S.H.I.E.L.D. is Marvel. Essentially,
well
it's
aware.
built up by mercenaries and assassins, and Joker is not part of the group. I'm wondering how he's going to mesh in there. The casting looks amazing for this, and it looks to be a fun movie, which is completely different from like the other ideas of like the DC films. This looks like a fun movie. The jokes are all hitting, and for the trailer here, you can see what I mean. I'm excited. This film looks good. We get to see more Ben Affleck as Batman. We get to see Will Smith's return to the screen in a good movie, hopefully, as strangely Deadshot, which in the comic books was a white guy, and I'm just weird here, and I like seeing race changes to characters who are normally pretty boring. I mean, I'm sorry to most comic book fans here, but I'm not a fan of Deadshot normally, and I like to see how Will Smith takes his role on this. And it's interesting to see it's also fun to see all of Batman's villains and other villains.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
not just Batman villains. That's something a lot of people are mistaking. It's not just Batman villains. In fact, a whole slew of villains here. Like Captain Boomerang is a Flash villain. And
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
So we're getting to see some Flash villains. Enchantress, I believe. I can't remember who she's a villain for, but I'm excited to see these villains coming to screen because in the DC universe, the characters are built upon their villains. Their villains are often more interesting than them.
Oh yeah, they are. He's Superman.
Sorry, Superman. But you're getting to see more of that, and hopefully this might be a film that, like the comic books, because the comic books, they'd have no fear on killing off characters. Like, something that worked really well with the comics is any character could die at any moment.
Oh, better not be Batman.
Well, it's not the superheroes, but the villains. So Ben Affleck, or not Ben Affleck, sorry, but Will Smith's character Deadshot could go at any moment. That was something great about the comic books, and that was kind of the name Suicide Squad. It's a suicide mission every time, and there's new people coming on all the time. It was great. It was fantastic. I didn't read much of Suicide Squad comic books because I've never had enough money to get into them. But what I have read, they're pretty good. I am just hoping one thing for this film. It does not turn Harley Quinn into Deadpool, which the New 52 comic books has been.
What do you mean by that? You mean like she's breaking the fourth wall? She has regenerative properties?
No,
What is it?
essentially, I'm not sure if everybody here is a comic book fan, but DC relaunched their entire universe with the New 52, and in order to bank off of Marvel's Deadpool, they basically turned Harley Quinn into their budget Deadpool, making fourth wall jokes over the place. I hope to, Lord Jesus Christ, they do not do that, because that really did not work with Harley Quinn's character. And as it looks, they're not. And I am so happy they're not, even though from a business standpoint, that would be great because Deadpool came out like just before the film and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, from that standpoint, it's like, here we are again, DC trying to reflect Marvel's movie plans right back at them.
I hope they do not do this.
Yeah, I
because
really
that
hope not, too.
that would ruin Harley Quinn's character, which so far has looked phenomenal.
Oh yeah, she has.
Oh yeah.
Suicide Squad is a fairly obscure comic book to be one of DC's first. Do you think this is a good idea?
I think yeah. I mean, Marvel took Guardians of the Galaxy, which virtually nobody knew anything about.
Nobody knew. Hell,
Yeah.
I'm the comic book nerd who has stacks and stacks of comic books. I don't own a single Guardians of the Galaxy comic book because that's how obscure they are. They're not B-list, C-list, they're freaking F-list comic book characters.
Well,
Nobody knew who the heck they were.
from what I understand, actually, in the comics, Iron Man is one of the compatriots. As I'm not sure if that was originally, just...
Well, originally, the only character in the film that was actually from the original cast of the...
Avengers?
No.
Oh.
Of the... What's the film called again that we were talking about?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy was the one guy with the red striped hair and the arrow that he shot through people by whistling. He wasn't even a part of the team in the film. That's showing you how obscure they were and how many liberties they could take.
Well, I mean, if I may, that creative license really paid off. Guardians of the Galaxy was a huge, enormous hit. Part of that success may be partially due to the fact that they're not trying to deal with characters that people already know a lot about. I mean, if you think about Sony's Spider-Man movies, for instance, they took a really beloved character.
And then just mess with
Yeah,
them.
exactly. They changed him way too much. He's someone iconic, someone that people understand the personality of. And, well,
He wasn't Spider-Man in that
he
film.
wasn't Spider-Man. The man tells the truth.
I'm the comic book nerd. I tell truth.
But definitely, I think that Suicide Squad going for a more obscure comic as a movie adaptation could really, really, really pay off. And if it doesn't, they're more obscure characters, and they can sort of, frankly, just let that line of the movies die down a little bit.
Kind of like the one Western comic book that DC did.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's because it's an F-list character. Next questions.
The next topic is a movie, upcoming American superhero film featuring Marvel Comics, character of the same name. This is Doctor Strange, coming out in November 2016.
Okay. First of all, I love Benedict Cumberbatch, who, by the way, is playing our beloved Stephen Strange. I think that the character is really interesting, though, unfortunately, I don't know all that much about him in the comics. I think that his design in the trailers that we've seen so far is phenomenal. In fact, we might
speaking
want
of the trailer.
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
You wonder what I see in your future? Possibility.
Why are you doing this?
There are
Welcome back. Okay. So, first of all, from what I understand, at least from this trailer, Stephen Strange is a surgeon who, though very brilliant, is also really arrogant. And it looks like after things go wrong, he goes and meets a character by the name of the Ancient One, who appears to be an ancient Shaolin monk who seems to open up his third eye, so to speak, help him figure out the powers within his brain, is how I would interpret that, at least.
Well, that would make sense because the comic book character of Doctor Strange is the most powerful magic user in all of Marvel Comics and even DC Comics, beating out Dr. Fate, which that's an attempt because Dr. Fate is a literal god.
Well,
when you're beating him on a magic level, you're important.
Well, I mean, like, they're both doctors. Did Strange just go to a better college, or?
Essentially, Doctor Strange is the mystic character that pops up in other people's comic books whenever stuff has gotten weird.
Oh yeah. I suppose that would make sense with his name.
Essentially, when he
Good
pops
name
up,
idea.
things go wrong. Things go horribly wrong, and you know you're about to deal with mystic stuff.
So then, to clarify, do you mean that when he shows up, he sort of brings the bad stuff with him, or does he just follow
He
the
shows
bad
up,
stuff?
he follows the bad stuff.
But good then.
Which-
Okay. So it's not that he's a doctor who happens to be strange. He's a doctor about strange things who happens to be named Strange. Ah.
Yeah, he's really weird in that sense, hence the name.
The director, Scott Derrickson, looking at his other films like Sinister, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and The Day the Earth Stood Still, do you think he's right to take on the mystical Doctor Strange?
No. Heck no. I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
this is the thing that legitimately worries me about this film. The only good film this guy has made is The Exorcism of Emily Rose. And that was a horror film. This is supposed to be a fantasy. I am worried. I am very worried because Marvel has the budget for much better people. Like, honestly, if I was picking directors, I would have taken the guy who directed the Lord of the Rings trilogy because that's more...
Peter Jackson?
Yeah, Peter Jackson, because that's more of what Doctor Strange is. He is the fantasy guy. He's going up against mystical beings all the time. Taking the horror master, or guy, not master.
As you've established.
Sorry, The Day the Earth Stood Still reboot. If you all know that film, not the greatest film in the universe. In fact, pretty awful.
Well, if I could give my opinion, I think that as far as this guy maybe not being the best director, might just be that he's been trying his hand at horror and needs to try something else. I mean, just consider that for a second. Maybe.
That's true.
I think that he could have really, really great ideas to bring to the table. If you think about like his difference in directorial styles from Joss Whedon, everybody else that we've seen, you know, directing these Marvel movies, he might actually make something really iconic out of Doctor Strange.
Which I'm hoping, because if Doctor Strange does poorly, this might kill the comic book industry. Because the films that are coming out are not awful, but they haven't been amazing so far. And if this one isn't good, this might kill the comic book industry.
Really?
So
you think that the weight of the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the DC universe even, could weigh down on Doctor Strange's shoulders?
Looking at this, the films that have been coming out, Iron Man 3, Avengers 2, and recently, Batman v Superman, we're looking at not the greatest movies so far, and if Doctor Strange proves not to be the greatest, this might be a huge problem looking forward.
But, may have to say that we are also looking down the barrel of Captain America: Civil War, which, according to critics, is the best Marvel movie they've seen yet.
We're not covering that here,
well,
so...
Well, yeah, we're talking about that later, but I just wanted to...
No, we're not even covering that here.
The future is not all bleak.
I'm just putting my thoughts out there.
To be completely and totally honest, I think it's going to do good, regardless who the director is for right now, I suppose. I think that he's going to be an amazing addition to the Avengers later on.
Well, most certainly. He is one of the best Avengers ever. But...
how do you think that the actors are going to portray the characters in this film?
Fantastically.
Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, he's an amazing, amazing actor. I mean,
Benedict Cumberbatch might be as good as picking Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man.
I think very much so. Did you see Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch by any chance?
No.
Well, he definitely plays the intellectual, arrogant guy.
Perfectly.
Fantastically. Oh, how dare you anticipate my next word? You did it wrong anyways. I think he's going to do great, honestly. Benedict Cumberbatch, like you said, couldn't be a better pick.
So, speaking of fantastic movies, my personal favorite, this one will be a trilogy by the author, of course, J.K. Rowling, based off of her book, It's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Why don't we look at the trailer?
Yet one of your teachers argued strongly against your expulsion. I wonder, what makes Albus Dumbledore so fond of you, Mr. Scamander?
First trip to America?
Yes.
Must get that fixed.
Anything edible in there?
Check that out. I mean, honestly, I thought that the Harry Potter series was all the way done, but looks like now, after everything's said and done, we're getting a sequel, or not a sequel, prequel. Don't worry, guys, they're only antonyms. I don't know, it worked really well for the Lord of the Rings series, going back to its roots with The Hobbit. I think it may do pretty good for the Harry Potter series, because from what I understand, it takes place a whole 70 years ago, back in the 1920s New York. That's right? I think, just personally, this might be fantastic.
Well, of course, it has to do with beats, right?
Fantastic beats. Wonderful.
Fantastic beats. Somebody needs to make that parody. Fantastic beats and where to find them. In the garbage or at a thrift store.
What are your thoughts on this film?
Okay, well, the film takes place in, like he said, 1920s New York. The main character, Newt, it implies that he was kicked out of Hogwarts, and it's going to introduce possibly a new wizarding school, which I believe is called Ilvermorny. And some things about Newt is not only the fact that he was kicked out of Hogwarts, but it was implied that he took Dumbledore's class when he was only a teacher when they were younger, and that Dumbledore is on his side. He has some kind of briefcase that seems to be faulty, and there's definitely some secrets about it, and also it implies that he's a Hufflepuff possibly because of his yellow and gray scarf that he's wearing.
Hufflepuff lead. Interesting.
We haven't really gotten any of those. So.
yeah. I mean, there you have it. Honestly, I think that since we've learned so much about Hogwarts throughout the last many movies in Harry Potter, the idea of introducing a new school and then maybe learning more about it, I absolutely love that idea. I think that having the Hogwarts outcast actually is another terrific move. I'm not sure if that actually was present in the book Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, or if that was more of a encyclopedia kind of book in regards to expanded universe knowledge. I think that taking such a successful IP as Harry Potter and then fleshing it out further, figuring out what things are like all around the Wizarding world, whether it be, I guess no longer England, but the Big Apple, I don't see how it could go wrong in the box office, at least.
Well, certainly not the box office. This film's going to make millions. That is for sure.
Do you think that this new trilogy actually will live up to the expectations considering the rest of the series previously?
That is a very, very difficult question to answer. Because I know that yourself, a lot of the people that I know actually are huge Harry Potter fans. They love the movies. They loved pretty much everything about them. You know, everything encompassing them. I'm not sure if they can live up to that.
If I throw my 2 cents out there, as long as they keep it to a trilogy, I think this will do well. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is in the Harry Potter universe, which is huge and massive, and there's a lot of things you could do with that. A lot of things you could do with that. And the only worry for me is that I hope they don't Hobbit this. What I mean by that is they don't go overboard, like going into details that weren't even in the books, doing things that just shouldn't be done.
Adding people who don't belong.
Adding people who don't belong. Adding subplots that don't belong. Like Saruman.
Yeah.
Like for the Hobbit.
To sidestep here, I completely agree with you on The Hobbit. It was the first longer book that I ever read as a child. And then seeing it butchered so badly on film.
What wasn't butchered?
It was stretched to the point that it snapped like a rubber band.
The first film was great. Second film was mostly good. Third film is just, I mean, you can't stretch a film that far. So as long as they keep it to a trilogy, each of the movies have their own theme. They're not stretched out. It could work. It could work really well. But a rumor I heard was that they might not be doing just a trilogy. They might be doing more. And that's where I'm worried.
Oh, I hope not.
I hope not, because I don't want this to be Hobbited. That's my new term. I don't want this to be Hobbited.
So long as the films are high quality, no matter how many there are, I think good for watch.
So it looks like that Rowling has been working on the screenplay for this movie with the same person that she's been working on for the previous, for 7 of the 8 Harry Potter films.
Ooh.
Well, good.
Yeah.
If it was anybody else, I wouldn't be joining.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, this is the one guy who, in all the movie-making world, understands Harry Potter like nobody else does. I think that to try to take that away and have somebody else work on it, I think that would be a really big mistake. So I'm glad. I think that probably going to ultimately have it still feel like Harry Potter. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely going to feel like Harry Potter. That's for dang sure. Hell, just watching a trailer, I feel in the Harry Potter universe.
Oh, yeah, you do?
Oh, yes.
Are you there among the living statues, the talking paintings, etc.?
Oh, yes. And I grew up with the Harry Potter films. I was watching them all as a kid. I was growing up with them. And it's like a return to childhood. The only thing that could be more return to childhood is if they kicked Michael Bay out of the Sea of the Transformers and got some other director in and just scrapped the whole universe and started over.
Was that
Screw you,
metal
Michael Bay.
pun there?
Well, that definitely sounds fantastic. So,
She's done it, folks.
my people. So, some movies opening up this weekend. Looks like Me Before You, starring Emilia Clarke, Sam Claflin, Charles Dance, Jenna Coleman. There's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows, starring Megan Fox,
Ruh-roh.
Stephen Hamill,
No.
Will Arnett, and William. I can't pronounce
Oh, spell it out for us.
the handwriting. I can't spell it.
Let me see.
Let's take a gander.
Those are the forbidden papers.
The Forbidden Papers.
Paper of Secrets. We're going back to Harry Potter. Anywho.
Also, Bye Bye Man and Pop Star Never Stopping.
Never stopping?
Never? Ever?
Never. Ever.
Interessant. As far as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles goes, I'm a little bit surprised that they're actually doing a sequel for this last one here.
Well, it made money at the box office, and Michael Bay helped in the directing. Of course it's going to have a sequel, and it's going to be just as awful as the last one. Please don't buy this movie.
to go back, just for a moment there, when we were talking about Transformers, I honestly am fearful this is going to turn into another really long, drawn-out series of movies that are generally panned by fans and critics alike.
That do well because it's Ninja Turtles!
It's Transformers, Optimus Prime, he's a truck, that's neat.
I grew up with Transformers. I grew up with Generation 1 Transformers. They are my favorite thing in the universe. Seeing them butchered that bad hurts. It hurts. And I was also a fan of Ninja Turtles. I grew up with the original TV show. I even grew up with the comic books.
Well, that last part's no surprise.
I see, and watching that last film, it came out exactly the way I expected. No. And seeing Michael Bay come back, and, yeah, I know he's not directing this, but he's co-directing it, and that's not a good thing. Please, just kick him out of the seat. Don't let him direct these things. Why are you still letting him direct these things? Oh yeah, because it makes bank.
Whoa, mic drop there.
It makes bank, it makes money, and it shouldn't. Stop taking your children to these things.
Picked the mic back up, dropped it again.
Sorry, I get emotional with this subject.
Frankly, just my final surmising thought for that feels a little bit like a money grab for merchandising. Because as we know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys sell fantastically, and quite frankly, I feel like at least a good 70% of the reason this movie's being made is to buy more toys. And that is a terrible cinema sin.
Well, it definitely seems like it's going to be a cringy movie. Any more topics that we should talk about?
Well, I think we've covered just about everything that I have to say. Everything that this wonderful Nathaniel here can talk about before he combusts. Literally combusts. His clothes on fire.
I can continue talking about Michael Bay and how much I am not excited for.
But at what risk? Can your heart handle it?
My heart can handle it. The stage can't handle it. I will start throwing chairs and stuff.
Please don't. Please. Thank you, audience, for joining us here on Real Talk. You best skedaddle before he starts throwing chairs.
Sounds like mayhem to me.
Yeah. I've been Camrin Meyer.
Daniel Perry.
And Jessica Verdier.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time. Except I won't. I'm just the guest.
I'll see you next time.